When darkness falls on an already troubled world, what does that world look like? Why do people want to oppress or control power, money, to give meaning to their lives? It's a bit of a mystery to me. At the same time, I have some of those traits within my own being. But sometimes in our lives, we come across stories that inspire us or introduce us to something that we haven't seen before. So I've watched a few movies this weekend, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but my wife and I watched A Man Called Otto, which I found really quite inspiring, and another was The Banshees of Inisherin. Inisherin. I'll go with that. You can let me know in the comments if I pronounced it or murdered it. Both movies I really enjoyed, but another inspiration came in the form of this game. And I've put a few clips in at the beginning of this video just to kind of pique your interest. What is that I'm playing? Some of you will probably know if you're gamers, but I stumbled across it, and I don't get much time to play games on my PlayStation, but with work being really busy, hence the lack of videos, I've only really had time to have like an hour maybe of playing my PlayStation, and I've just got PlayStation 4 and I've got one of these subscriptions, but this game just jumped out at me because of the simple title and the thumbnail, which again is artwork. It's designed to jump out at you, it's designed to capture a specific audience. But this week as well, I came across a bunch of questions to ask about artwork and figured I would state a few here just to give you an idea of questions you might want to ask yourself when you find something inspirational. Questions to do with art that make you want to draw, to create. So the first question we could ask when we look at a drawing or when we look at a screenshot is, what elements of this painting seem real? Now I'm going to apply that to this game here and explain why I think gaming can give us insights and learning to take our art to the next level. I've been studying art now for many years, and these questions naturally jump into my brain when I'm gaming. I see things just using my art brain that's been kind of honed in. So if you're maybe at the beginning of your art journey, you're going to maybe develop a brain that starts seeing the world in a different way. And I think that's a lot to do with how you become a good artist or improve your artwork, is your brain gets taught to look at the world in a more simple terms a lot of the time. So just in this sequence here, we have multiple art lessons that we can take from this game and pull it into our art. And I'm going to show you a quick time lapse here of me drawing this scene and some of the aspects I chose to include and why. That might be a wee bit later. But this game is classed as a 2.5D puzzle platformer. It's called Inside, and the game programmers, graphic designers need to figure out how to make it seem like the world is a big place and pull us into this world and make our imaginations work a wee bit and make it somewhat believable, or as believable as we can get it. So how do they achieve this? In this scene we can see they have given us a sense of scale by using items that in general people can relate to: buildings, lampposts. This allows our brains to process the scale of our image and the scale of those objects compared to what we're seeing. This sort of trick is used in many artworks. For example, if we look at a movie with a giant in it, you'll see the poster art needs to show the sense of scale of the person by drawing the giant in a particular way and from a particular viewpoint, usually from a ground looking up, and with some items for you to get your brain around that that's a giant, it's the 50-foot woman. In our artwork, we've drawn this human at the back here and with a torch, and they're much smaller than our character due to their distance, but they're going to be looking like an adult or a soldier in this case. So this human is far away. It's a wee bit like that Father Ted scene, which I'll probably insert a clip of.
Okay, one last time. These are small, but the ones out there are far away. Small, far away. Forget it.
For the game programmers, one trick that is often used in games to provide a sense of realism is the use of parallax scrolling. This has been a trick used since the very early days of game design, and it's not something we can use in our artwork So we need to find another way of looking at parallax scrolling to see why is it that that tricks our brains into understanding the world that we are seeing, and how is this bringing the world into a believable and it's not abstract. I've talked about many of these aspects in my past videos as well, but for us artists, what we need to do is look at the objects in our scene and have an item crossing another item. In this example, I have drawn, you can see the end of the lorry or truck if you're not from the UK. We can see the mounting is hiding part of that vehicle, so although we can't show parallax scrolling as such, we can use this to show that this object is behind something. It gives you that layering. Your brain then can layer the picture accordingly in terms of where each of these objects sits within this 2D image. The third thing we can learn from gaming though is to use atmospheric perspective. Again, I've talked about this many times, the trees fading into the background as you can see here. Notice that this scene is kept very dark by limiting the values that can be used. The brightest point here is our character and the truck light, which again is obscured by the atmosphere and is dulled by the haze that we can see in real life if we're looking at objects at a distance. Number 4 on our list is that we want to point out the use of repeating patterns to provide the sense of depth. Here in this image we have the road markings getting smaller and changing direction. Again, a trick to use to show the brain this road is getting narrower, it's going away from us. We're using some perspective tools here to help us understand the scene. There are many more items in this drawing, the reflections that I could take you through, and many more scenes from this game, and a multitude of other games, so perhaps this will be more of a series than an individual episode. So if you want a more in-depth look at concept art and values, check out the video up in the corner, it's definitely worth a watch. Thanks for watching, and Rebelle is out.